Seems like a very familiar movement.
Oh my god.
I'm also doing this with my hands a lot.
Why is she looking at me like that?
And it's a long one too. Are you kidding me? Hello book reading friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Mel, and today you're going to plan a reading month with me. We're gonna go through all of my shelves, look at all of my unread books, and talk about all of the books that I am reading in the month of September. Could also double as my September TBR, as all the books I want to read in September. I have named this sort of video a million different things in the past. Now, as you guys know, I am primarily a mood reader, so it's really hard for me to set a monthly TBR and actually stick to it. I find that the months that I stick to my TBR the most are the months where I actually put books in there very intentionally, whether they're for secret videos or for a specific reading vlog, or just because I am genuinely in the mood for it, or because they are Patreon book club picks. Future Mel here, interjecting and saying a massive thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is Disney Book Group, in celebration of Pahua and the Soul Stealer and Paola Santiago and the Forest of Nightmares. You guys know I love middle grade. They provide some of the best escapism in the fantasy genre, and these ones in particular are super exciting because they come from the Rick Riordan Presents line, and they are inspired on Latin mythology and Southeast Asian mythology respectively. If you're not familiar with the Paola Santiago series, in this one we follow obviously 12-year-old Paola Santiago as she goes in her own adventures overcoming evil and darkness with science and the power of love. And this story is inspired on the mythology surrounding La Llorona, which, if you guys know Latin culture in any capacity, it is a ghost story that I literally grew up hearing about every time that I was with my grandparents. So this is just something that I know I will adore. And then in Pahua and the Soul Stealer, we follow obviously Pahua, who is a Hmong girl, and she sees spirits, which classifies her as kind of like a weirdo and an outcast in her community. And one day, unknowingly, Pahua releases an angry spirit that sets out on this path of revenge and mayhem. Thinking now that this spirit has stolen her brother's soul, even, she sets out on this adventure with shamans and family members to get her brother's soul back and make sure that he is alive and well by the end of the story. It is surrounding Hmong mythology, which is something that I am not quite familiar with, but something that I am very excited to dive into and see everything that it has to offer. So if you are interested in any of these, they are both out already, and they are both out in both hardcover and an audiobook. Again, as always, I will leave the link at the top of the description so you guys can check both of these books out. And yeah, thank you so much to Disney Book Group for sponsoring today's video, and let's get right into the September TBR. So today I'm gonna try and be as intentional as I possibly can, just to make sure that the books I put in here are not only a realistic expectation with the amount of pages on books that I read each month, but that they are also books that I've been interested in reading. I will say, I think I have a pretty clear idea of what I want to put on my TBR for September, mostly because these are books that I've been wanting to take out of the shelf and actually read for, again, the past 2 and so weeks that I have been in a reading slump. So that is fun and fresh for me, maybe not for the people, but I've been having a great time not reading. However, I am ready to read some fun, great, exciting books. I do have my little note journal right here, so I'm just gonna use this kind of to jot down my thoughts, my potential TBR, and then as I go start kind of like cross-eliminating things. So there are 3 books that are a given for this TBR, and they are all my Patreon book club picks. Now for Patreon, I typically choose 2 books, a primary buddy read and then a secondary buddy read, but the reason for that is to make sure that everybody has something to read. I typically read all of the choices, and then we discuss them either through a video or through a live show. The primary book club pick is Witches Steeped in Gold by Cyan and Smart, where we follow 2 witches who couldn't have grown up in the most different of circumstances. While one has grown up kind of like a thief and an outcast, the other one has grown up in wealth and status, and they are obviously, because of those things and many others I am going to assume, they have grown up and recognized each other as enemies. However, when this situation presents itself, they won't really have any other option but to team up and start this revenge plot that I am sure will reveal a lot of things that neither of them expected. So this is our primary book club pick for Patreon, so this one is definitely going on the TBR. We are also doing a read along for the City of Brass series, so for September it is Kingdom of Copper's turn, so I am gonna add this to my September TBR as well. I have to admit I haven't finished City of Brass yet, so that is also kind of going into the TBR, but we're not gonna talk about that today. And then the other book that I do need to add is the Le Fantasme. That sounds sexy in my head every time I say it and then it comes out, it's not as sexy or not even the correct pronunciation. However, that book club is run with Liv, and every month we choose obviously a separate book, and for this month we have The Witch's Heart, which is a super short fantasy, thank God. And it is also a book that I don't know that much about. It did come out this year, so it is a newer release. However, not a lot of people have been talking about this one. It is an adult fantasy, and it's a standalone, which is also phenomenal. And it follows the story, or sort of a retelling, between Angerboda and Loki. And of course, because we're all in the Loki hype right now, we all watched the show and we loved it, it's so great time, we thought that that would be a great pick, not only for its shortness, the fact that it's a standalone, and also Loki. We can't wait to see the mischievous king in his endeavors in this particular book. So I obviously am immediately adding those 3 books to my TBR. I do need to write them down on the journal, so let's go do that. So I have gone through the books and I have chosen a few that I am really in the mood for right now. So the first one that I really do know, let me just pull these in here so that it's not too hard for reach, but the first one that I really do know I want to put on my TBR is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Now this one is one that I've been meaning to pick up for the entirety of August, really, ever since it got here, and I just knew that I couldn't because I would be mad at myself if I did, because I've been saving this for September. I am really excited. I think this is more of like speculative fiction, because I do know that this book primarily follows the POV of an AI, so an artificial intelligence called Clara, and it is basically her narrating how she sees the world. So it's kind of like the world's perception through the eyes of an AI. I really don't know what direction this is going to take. I have never read any Kazuo Ishiguro, so we're gonna see how it goes. Now I know the pile is climbing up. We've already got 4 books in there. I know it sounds crazy, but I do read quite a bit, so I need to kind of control myself in a way and remind myself that I can't put 15 books on my TBR, even though I might read that much. I've been trying really hard lately to, again, be more mindful with my reading. I kind of went through, and I guess this video is going to be chattier than a regular TBR, but I was going through all of the books that I'd read this year, and I read such a big amount of books, and I think it's so easy for us creators to kind of launch into the stance of don't pressure yourself to read. If you're in a reading slump, don't read. Just do whatever fits your lifestyle and don't let anybody pressure you into reading. And a lot of us, I'm sure myself included, end up falling into that pit trap and pressure ourselves into reading more for more content for you guys, etc., whatever the reason might be. And I've definitely been a victim of my own sort of pressure. I definitely read graphic novels and mangas and short books, or audiobooked certain books that I would have rather read physically, in the hopes that that would have elevated the amount of books that I read every month, and again, I would be able to push out more things for you guys, which couldn't be farther away from the truth. There is a bunch of videos that can be made without the necessity of really reading that much. 20 books a month, at least for me and the lifestyle that I carry, might be excessive at times, and then it would only be filming, editing, reading, and repeat the process. I do want to have a better balance with work, reading, and everything else that comes with my personal life. So I don't know why I went into this tangent. I can't even remember how I started this. However, right, because I read so many books a month by whatever standard we're judging that in. But I'm trying to be more mindful and not put a gazillion books in here, because I've definitely not carried that through in previous months. That being said though, a book that I am very intrigued by, and I bought this quite recently. This is a book that I've been going back and forth with. Do I buy it? Do I read it? Do I not read it? What do I do with it? And between the cover, the people who really do love this, and the fact that every book box insists on including some sort of fan art, merch, licensed artwork, anything of this book, of this series, really pushed me to buy this and see if I'll enjoy it. You'll know, and if I don't, you'll see a rant review. At this point, whatever comes of this, we'll see. And that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This concept sounds super cool. It seems more like a fantasy romance. I have heard that the plot sucks and that the only reason why it's subjectively good is the romance, which there's other people who argue that the romance is the trashiest part of this book. I've heard a lot about this book. I've also heard about Big Titty Liddy or something. The concept sounds interesting enough. I'm just here for a trashy YA. I'm not asking for a lot. And this one is kind of an enemies to potential lovers situation where somehow a witch and a witch hunter have to enter some sort of forced arranged marriage, not knowing what each other are, I believe. I'm kind of throwing this in here as like a maybe. Another book that I am really interested in reading, and one book that I know virtually nothing about, is The Other Black Girl. It's on Script, so this is one that I will be ebooking. The bare minimum that I do know is that we follow a black girl in her journey in the publishing industry, and it'll address the themes of race, racism, what it means to be a POC within the publishing industry. I personally think it's really interesting, and I really do think that's going to be a quick, fast book to read that will have lots of incredible commentary, and I am here for all of that. So far, we have got the 3 Patreon buddy reads, then we've got Clara and the Sun. Let me just put a check mark on that, and then The Other Black Girl. I am leaving Serpent and Dove as a maybe, and I might not even put that on the pile. Let's just separate that, and we'll go back to Serpent and Dove later on. A book that I am currently reading that I really do want to finish during September, this one right here, Miss Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I started this when I went out to my local coffee shop a few days ago, and while I am only 18 pages in, which I realize is ridiculous, I have watched the show though, so far it's very similar to what I've experienced in the show. I definitely want to finish reading this during, oh wow, this book is long, it's like 600 pages, but I really do want to finish reading this in September. I really do want to bring you guys a video on Game of Thrones as part of the new adult fantasy content rolling in, whether it's an individual kind of like video essay style video or a reading vlog, whichever of the two. I really do want to do some Game of Thrones content for you guys because I know you guys are really excited about me reading this. With that, we have got 6 books so far on my TBR. Another book that I know I'm reading is Mistborn, or at least the first one, The Final Empire by Mr. Brandy Sandy himself, Brandon Sanderson. It is on its way, so I don't have my physical copy at the moment. However, another book that I plan to use for a video. I won't disclose what the video is just yet, but just know that Mistborn is going to be used in September for a video, so definitely look out for that. It's gonna be a good one. The Final Empire and Mistborn as a whole, as a trilogy, or at least as a first era of a series, there's just so much happening. I don't know anything about. I just know the main character's name is Vin, and I know the magic system is very sci-fi based. It's gonna be an interesting one to read, so we're gonna go in pretty blind with Mistborn. Another book for another video. Now, this might be, I don't know if this is gonna happen in September, actually, but that one is Little Women. It seems like a maybe happier version of Pride and Prejudice. I really don't know. Almost 600 pages, so maybe this won't be happening. I feel like this could be a toss-up where if I finish the books that I do need to finish for September, I will get around to this particular book for that particular video, which again, you guys don't know, won't know. So I'll definitely put that in the maybe pile alongside Serpent and Dove. Do I want to stop here? Oh, I am forgetting one book that I do need to put in here, and I am definitely not in the mood to read this, but I'll definitely add this here. I played Play Your TBR Right with Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. If you don't know who he is wonderful, hilarious, such an amazing human being. I'll leave him linked down below. But he asked me for the month of September to play his game, Play Your TBR Right, at least one round, and to play for a book that I really wanted to read and a book that I didn't want to read as much. So I'll roll the clip right now so you can see the chaos that ensued with that particular happening, and so you can see the book that won in case you haven't watched his TBR video.
Hey.
Hey girl, hey. I'm scared. Oh wait, should I pick my books out first?
Oh crap, yes.
Okay, so it's a book I really want to read and a book that I don't want to read as much. I am really in the mood to read this, so I think we can put this here. So To Sleep in a Sea of Stars is definitely one.
I mean, we could do rereads of things if you want.
I'm not rereading Den of Vipers. Okay, so I've got 2 romance books. I don't want to read either of them right now. So it's a great time. So it's either Isn't It Romantic, which is the next book in the Bromance Book Club series, or Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas.
I want you to read that one.
You want me to read Birthday Girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I'm hoping to do this in the future as well. You know, once I've just realised that I've put you where you can see the cards.
That's why I closed my eyes.
You would have just seen pixels. You would have seen pixels. That you're playing with is. Oh, it's an ace. How do you play with cards? Is an ace a 1 for you or the highest?
It's usually the highest for here in Panama. I feel like I can't go wrong if it's the highest.
Higher or lower?
It's gotta be lower.
Okay, so the next card is a 2. Okay. Oh my god, you have looked out. One of the lowest cards? Yes. Are you scared?
Yes. It's gotta be higher then.
A 3.
Oh my god, I hate this. Could you imagine if the A's would have been a freaking 1? Or what happens if it's a 2?
Exactly. What happens if it is a 2?
Okay, no. It's gotta be higher. It's higher.
Higher? A 9.
Oh no, then it gets tricky. I'm screwed over anyway. It's either a book I don't want to read as much or an 800-page book. It's lower. It's lower. It's lower.
Lower? Lower than a 9?
It's low. Oh, I guess. No! As you would have been able to tell, the book that won was Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. And if there's one thing I am least in the mood for is a trashy romance, which is exactly the point of Play Your TBR, right? You're supposed to choose a book that you really don't want to read. And so this is really a book that I really don't want to read. I guess looking at this pile of books, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars really wasn't a great option either. I think I'll leave the sci-fis for like October, but I will put this on the pile as well, just to honor the fact that I really did play the game, and that's what ended up coming out of it. So that is definitely another one going into the pile. So with that, we have 8 books. I typically put 10 books on my TBR and then kind of wing out the rest. So one of those picks is a Patreon pick. I let my patrons pick 1 book every month for me. I may read it, I may not read it. It's happened in the past. Both of those things have happened in the past. I do need to put up a poll, so we're gonna go to the desk area. I'm gonna put that up so that by tomorrow I have an answer for you guys. And then the very last book that goes on my TBR, I need to add another book, and it's a long one too. Are you kidding me? Let me stand up. I'm getting fed up with being sit down. Let's just stand up again. Okay, remember when I said that I wouldn't add any more long books on my TBR? That was a lie. I do need to add one more long book at that, and that is Dune by Frank Herbert. I didn't end up reading this in August. Clearly, neither Delisa nor myself ended up reading this, but we do have a plan of action for this particular book for September, and we're kind of gonna divide this per day. So it's either gonna be 100 pages a day or 50 pages a day. That way we can slowly chip away at it and kind of read this together, or as together as we possibly can. We are trying really hard to have a successful buddy read, so we'll see if this will be the one. This is getting out of hand. See, this is what happens every month. I start out really good. It looks perfect, and then I really have to go ahead and mess it up. Gonna be fine though. We got this. We got this. I believe in myself. So I guess another one to add to the list is June. And yeah, I'm definitely not reading Serpent and Dove if that's the case. And Little Women is definitely not getting read during September. We gotta put up the Patreon pick, see what they choose for me. I obviously do choose the books for that, so maybe I should pick the books for that, huh? Oh my god. I've got this book right here. It's short. It's A Dowry of Blood. It's a sapphic Dracula retelling. This one I am really excited about. I don't know if this is still in epistolary writing or if this is more in prose. I'm not really sure. That one is going up for poll. Another book that I meant to read. Oh god, this is getting out of hand. Oh no, I don't like this. It's getting out of hand. This is why I hate TBRs, because I want to read so much, but I don't want to pressure myself because I am a human being with feelings. Joke's on me. Another one I'm putting up for poll is The Heart Principle, which is the 3rd and final, I believe, book in the Kiss Quotient series. See, when I look at The Case of Sword of Destiny, the book is not that long. It's 374 pages. And I can also audiobook this because the audiobook is fucking incredible. I'm gonna add this to the poll too. This is gonna be the poll for Patreon. We're gonna put up Sword of Destiny, The Heart Principle, and then A Dowry of Blood. But let us go to the desk area. Let me not look at my bookshelves anymore because I'll just keep pulling out books, and this is what happens every month. I end up putting 15 books on my TBR, and 8 of them are a maybe, and then the other ones are concrete, and it turns into chaos. people what you just did. I just told her I was gonna do some keyboard ASMR, and what did you start doing, Jaleesa?
I started doing keyword ASMR.
She started whispering, Mel reads, I am Mel reads. I was like, what are you doing?
Why is she looking at me like that?
Okay, you guys, hello. I just put up the poll for the Choose My September TBR, and I am constantly refreshing to see what's winning. And it looks like at the moment, A Diary of Blood is winning, which is good because it's a short book. It's like 150 something pages, maybe a little bit longer, but it's definitely under 200. Maybe? Is it longer than that? I don't think it is. Point is, I think that's gonna win. I'm gonna check back tomorrow, go to bed right now, see where that's at that point in time. Oh my god, okay, hi guys. It is the next day. Also, I've just realized that I've got music playing in the background. Give me a second. I also look kind of trash right now, but it's fine. Got the Thai latte, got the cardigan. I'm also doing this with my hands a lot, and I just don't know what this Lady Gaga moment is anymore, so I just need to stop. I just need to stop this. However, I put up the poll yesterday as I was able to show you guys. Now again, the choices were between Sword of Destiny, The Heart Principle, and then also A Diary of Blood. Now, I thought it was gonna go one particular way. I definitely thought everybody was gonna vote for Sword of Destiny just because they know how excited I am about the Witcher series, and it definitely did not go that way. I'll put up a screenshot or a screen recording right here. It went very differently than what I expected, and instead Sword of Destiny got the least amount of votes. All in all, my Patreons did save me, and I'm gonna end up reading A Diary of Blood by S.T. Gibson. It's actually longer than I thought it was. It is 235 pages, but it's still better than an 800-page book. It's still better than a 300 and something page book. So overall, they did save me from failure, I guess, in a way, and made me read a book that was probably the best idea given how many pages I'm reading for September. I've heard that the writing is so lyrical and beautiful, and you guys know that is right up my alley. Either way, it's gonna be an exciting one, a short one. This is definitely a book that I can read in one sitting, and hopefully it is one that I end up loving because it just seems like everything that I would love. And then after I'm done with this live show, I'm gonna come back to you guys and figure out if I am okay and well with the amount of books that I have on my TBR, or if there's anything else that I'd like to add. But I think with the amount of books that we have right now, I am excited about all of them, and I think we can cap it at that. I don't think there's anything else that I need or want to add at the moment. I'll be back very, very soon. Oh my god, you guys, hello. I literally just finished filming my wrap up, which will go up first. So you will be seeing my TBR after my wrap up, but it is time for me to finalize my TBR, which I haven't done yet. And it is time to do so because it is already September 1st, and I really need to finalize this and see exactly what I am reading for the month of September. Let me grab the trusty notebook. Let us run through the books once more because a few things have changed since we've last spoken. Let me also put in my trusty glasses because the girl can barely see. Hello, I look like a sexy secretary with a notebook and everything. Hello. But seeing this now, again, it all looks pretty good for the most part. Also, my hair looks crazy. Please forgive it, except for the Daeva trilogy. Now, I still am not in the mood to read City of Brass or Kingdom of Copper. That may change throughout the month. I may feel myself in the mood to reach for those. So for the time being, I am gonna take out Kingdom of Copper, which sounds super bad because it is the patron buddy read. However, I am gonna take that and City of Brass out of my TBR. I switched the dynamic for the live show. So instead, we'll be having a discussion at the end of October for the entire trilogy, and I'm gonna make a compound video for that. So even if I didn't read either of them in September, I can get around to them in October and just binge the series, or either read those two in September and then read Empire of Gold. Whatever ends up happening will happen, but I'm kind of happy that I can eliminate those so that I can add something else that I am more interested in. See, now I'm torn between Middle Game by Shauna Maguire, Sword of Destiny, and I don't know what to do. Because realistically speaking, I should probably go for the book that is shorter because the girl is in a reading slump, right? And then Dune is like 600 pages, and then like Game of Thrones is like another 600 pages, and then Witch is Steeped in Gold is like 500 and something. So like I probably shouldn't torture myself with a long book. But that's exactly what I'm putting on the TBR because I really want to read this book. So I am going to add Middle Game by Shannon Maguire to the list, which I know sounds insane, but that's just what a girl's doing. And I'm capping the TBR at this because I cannot any longer. So a final rundown through the TBR just very quickly before I end the video very soon. We've got Middle Game by Shannon Maguire, which is an adult fantasy. This one is alchemically centered because we follow this storyline with two individuals who have powers and their mentor of sorts who is very much looking for god status. Is godhood possible in this world and through what means? So it really is an interesting premise. I have heard incredible things about Middle Game. Anyways, I am really excited about this. I've been excited about this for a while and I really like Shannon Maguire / Mira Grant's writing style. So I do think I'm gonna vibe with this one a lot. Then we've got A Diary of Blood, which you guys know is a sapphic Dracula Wives retelling. 10 out of 10. I'm gonna start the month with that. And then Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is one that I generally don't know if I'm gonna get to. If I do, I don't know what this is about. I don't know the nitty-gritty about this book. I know the bare minimum, and it's that we follow this girl and her boyfriend, and they are apparently having a lot of problems with their relationship, and so she ends up dating the dad or having some sort of relationship with his dad. Then we've got Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Now, I'm going to leave all of the synopses and everything about this one in particular for the vlog that I am making, so Game of Thrones will get read. It's already been started. And then for the last few books, we've got Dune by Frank Herbert, which is a sci-fi, and this is mostly, I guess, in preparation for the movie, but also just because it's a pretty book and I am very intrigued by it, so I'm gonna be reading this. Again, there will be a vlog on Dune, so I won't be going into the synopses too in depth right now. I want to go in pretty blind. Then we've got Clara and the Sun, which, as I already told you guys, is the world through an AI's eyes. And then Witches Steeped in Gold by Cyan and Smart, which is my Patreon book club pick for September. And then the other books that I don't have physically are The Other Black Girl, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, and then The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. So yeah, that is the TBR for the month of September. As you guys can see, I am first and foremost a mood reader. I gotta pick things the very last minute, switch things at the very last minute, ask people for recommendations, ask people to choose books for me, kind of alter and add, but overall still have a good balance between long books and shorter books, and also a mix of genres. We've got a little bit of everything in here, from YA fantasy to adult fantasy to sci-fi, thrillers to contemporaries. Do we have contemporaries? Yes, Birthday Girl, and speculative fiction. So we have a little bit of everything, which is nice, and that's what I try to do every single month with my TBR. For the people who want to know and ask me, how do you build your TBR? I just try and have a balance of several genres so that I don't get tired of the same tropes, of the same sort of stories, and of the same formulaic nature that comes with any of those. So that's what I try to do because I read a bunch of everything, though I know for some people that might not be the most feasible because there are people that are very genre centric. However, that's my take on it. That's what's worked for me in the past, and I also just switch around books throughout the month if I feel like it. I feel no pressure towards reading certain books unless they are buddy reads, and even then we all know that I suck at buddy reads. So all in all, I just try and make it a good balance of everything. That's just what I do. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, more of a vlog style moment for the TBR, which is very different to what I've done in the past. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment down below what you guys are going to be reading for the month of September. Are there any books that you are particularly excited to get to, or any books that you've read from this pile right here? Let me know all of that down in the comments. If you reached the end of the video, let's leave some sun emojis down below because of Clara and the Sun. And don't forget to subscribe down below for more content here on the channel. Again, I am constantly uploading videos and I am sure you won't want to miss. And if you want more exclusive content from me and to just support the channel a little bit further, I do have a Patreon. We call ourselves the Citadel, and there is constantly stuff going on there, as you could have seen from the little bit of behind the scenes that I gave you guys. If you do want to join us, the link for that is down below, as well as all of my social medias if you want to support me in any of those. You guys know where to find me. Again, thank you so much to Disney Book Group for sponsoring this video, and don't forget that you can check both of these books out down in the description. I will be leaving links for both of these at the top of the description if you do want to check them out. I love you guys so much, and I shall see you on the next one. Bye guys.